Alright, my friends, what is happening out there? Here's truly Rockin' Dave, the real deal. North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida, and all that good stuff. So I figured I'd bust out good old BC Rich Warlock, my friends. Look at that. Next through series. This model is called the NJ Next through series. And we got this in 2000, so what would that make me? Just before my 37th birthday, we got this. Yeah, because I turned 40 in 2003. After a while, you just lose count. You lose track of count. And we put the Roland pickup on here in 2002. This came with the GR33, which we still have in one of our cases. The pickup that comes, this is called the GK2. I also have the GK3 pickup that came with, I have that on the acoustic here, that came with the GR55, which I just took that picture of, and posted that up here just before the live stream. And actually, that's the sound, that's one of the sounds you're hearing on here. It's called the symphonic rock. What's really cool with this is that with the pedal up, the foot pedal up, pedal down, well, I faded it, becomes the pipe organ. So with this patch right here, the organ is more on the slower side. It's really meant for when you play a chord. It'll come in just slightly, there's a slight delay, and it kind of holds. There's another patch I have to find in here because I haven't used this in a while. So I'm definitely going to bust this out again. Where every note you play, the organ's right there. So if you're doing any runs like this, it's definitely keeps up with you. I don't know if I can find it here. There's all kind of stuff this thing has, man. Cool. Now here, on this patch, called Rock and Cathedral, I get the pedal all the way down. Pedal is all the way down, but the guitar is over it. Now, whereas the symphonic rock, the guitar is underneath the organ. See how much organ is pronounced. Because I can bring when I pedal back. What's really cool when I hit the control switch, I actually wanted to move the phone close to the Roland KC stereo. Let's see if I can show you what that looks like here, so you can see exactly what I'm using. Tell you what, these screensavers, man, I tell you what, they're kind of worthless. There you go. And that's the KC Roland. Anyways, let's go back here, and we're going to move the phone. Here, I'm going to grab my little stool here so you can see what's going on, so if you don't mind. Be just like at the gigs when Mama moves the... Okay. All right. I got my cup of Joe. Always tastes better than a Joe Wentz coffee mug. Yeah, shout out to great YouTuber, great friend, Joe Wentz. If you check this out later, Joe, I had saw that you went live the other morning. You were coming home, and I had just got done. Actually, I had just was right in the middle of doing my pre-trip to take off for my run. So, anyways, I tell you what, man, it's great having the CL license. It really is, guys. For a musician, oh man, it's great. It's a great gig. When I see the guitar, I don't see the face. Maybe you want to look at the guitar more than the face. See the mouth going, right? Tell you what, let's move this back a little bit. I'm going to get my friend Chris's Educator's Music t-shirt in there. There we go. There we go. Right there. Got the Hughes and Kettner right there. On top of the Marshall, on top of the Peavey. Right over here is the Crate Half Stack. You know, I love... Now all of a sudden we're starting to see the... Because the cabinet I have, the 412 cabinet is loaded with the Celestian 75s. So that really goes with the Blue Voodoo crate. The head is the Crate GT 1200H solid state head, 3-channel. Oh, that thing sucks. Then all of a sudden, ooh, that thing sounds great. You know, because a very famous death metal band played it. You know, sounds great regardless who played it or not. You know, I never went by the fact that who played this, who did that. What I always went for if I liked it, it felt good, it sounded good to me. Who cares? You know, everyone's got opinions, and rightfully so. You're all entitled to your opinions. Absolutely, 100%. So, I kind of want to do a little review on the gigs we just did over the weekend. And, Friday's gig. Oh, by the way, I think this is what I call episode like a TV show. You know, when like Mannix, Cannon, Kojak, Streets of San Francisco, Beretta, Starsky and Hutch. For those who've been around a while, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so Friday's gig, we were at the Music Walk downtown Fort Myers, and it was hot. I was a little on the tired side, but I got a little bit of extra boost energy just because I was feeling that mood, you know, and everything came out great, just the way I wanted. And we brought out the Lawsuit guitar, and that guitar is great, man. Each one of these guitars that we have here has its own personality, its own uniqueness. The Ibanez Artist has a lot of killer sustain. The Gibson has a lot of killer sustain. The Lawsuit has sustain in certain spots, those certain sweet spots, but just smokes. Almost looks like the Santana guitar, you know, which I do like. I do like the Paul Reed Smith Santana. The core model is great, but you know, $6,000 is $6,000, right? The SE model, man, that's nice. I think it's only like $840, brand new. 24 fret, real simple layout, but it's the way those pickups are voiced. I think Paul had wrapped those pickups to the specs that Carlos Santana wanted, you know, and it just has that unique singing sound, which I absolutely love, man. I absolutely love that. But anyways, so it was a great gig. We were there like 4 hours and just doing our thing, and A lot of compliments, man. Yeah, it was called the Music Walk. We're going to be there again for the Art Walk, and actually we're getting that same location, which I really like because even though it's kind of out of way out of the main stream, the main road there, so we're kind of down this like alleyway. The sound carries, and the sound is different, and then people walk by, they hear it, and boom, they come walking down, man. And we're not bombarded with other bands and sound just washing each other off, So it's a great spot. It is a great spot, and we did very well. We were tired at the end and warm. I wish I could show, but I gotta find a way where I could get this thing where I show you where we're actually taking our gig from the indoor garage down the elevator and walking. I'm pulling the two wagons. Deb has got the main cart with our 12-inch QSC speaker and the board and everything in it. And I got the one fan with head. Or maybe the one wagon has the QSC with the fans, and the other wagon has the pedal boards and the guitar stand and that. Just so you could see what. It's not pleasant when you gotta walk down there, but we make it work, and it comes out to be pleasant because we know the gig is gonna be great. And Lori, who's been booking us there, she's been such a great gal. I am so blessed and fortunate to work with these people that really like what I'm doing, and they're just so easy to work with, and they know that we respect them, and we're so thankful. And they really try it because she's got to coordinate everyone. We're one of many bands playing down at the Music Walk, and there's a few people that do play the Art Walk, but it's more musicians at the Music Walk. It's Music Walk. But she's always been so kind and so gracious to us, man. I'm just very thankful and grateful for all she does for us, And of course, Saturday we were at our gig at Yucatan's, and I'm just so thankful Yucatan's for them, and I'm just so happy they're reopened and they're surviving and they're thriving, and it's fantastic, man. He Rob, the owner, has done it right, and he's such a great guy. He actually will get behind the bar. He'll wait. He'll do things. He's not one of these owners that just dictate to everybody, and everyone seems to like him. And I can see why. He doesn't talk down to anybody, and he's got this great place. He's got another Yucatan's in Fort Myers Beach, and just having those two locations, rebuilding, reopening up after Hurricane Ian, and it's just he's an inspiration. If you want to get inspiration by an owner and a boss, this guy, just watch him work, and man, you'll just he's done it right. He's done it right. Can't say enough good about him. Even if I wasn't playing it, just what I see. I mean, it's great. And of course, we've eaten there a few times already since they reopened. We used to eat there after our gigs, before the hurricane, and the food was always good. And of course, after it opened, the food's even better. And the people are great. The wait staff are great. The bar, I mean, it's a win-win, man. It's a win-win. Now Sunday, that gig, I sat in with my friend Kenny Giordano. He's a great entertainer. He used to do a lot of the cruise ships. I don't know how long ago that was, but it doesn't seem like it was too long ago. Maybe before we relocated. We've been down here about 7 years now, so maybe 10 years. And he had a few, I don't know how many years he was on a cruise, doing the cruise lines, but he was definitely out there. And a great entertainer, great guy, and I guess, he just said, "Hey, you want to sit in with them?" Because my other partner, couldn't make it. He was sick or whatever, and I hope he's well again. So it was an honor. And this is what I respect so much about Kenny. He has been around for a long time doing this. When you get musicians sit in, don't worry about if you know the song all the way. He could see what your potential is. He knows that you're smart enough that you pull out of a mix if you're really going to make a mistake, or you just have a brain fart. You just don't remember because you're just not. You're going by basically pure instinct, and by audio, by hearing, and then you can kind of guess. And you know, a lot of those songs I heard growing up and that. So, but you tend to forget when you pull away from that and doing other styles of music, you know. But he understood, and I was just so thankful because I really wanted to. He gave me it was kind of a long list, but I just, man, if I had the time, I would have nailed all of them, man, just for him, you know, not to prove to him anything, but just to show him that respect, and that he could count on me, you know. And I told him whatever you want. So he was gracious enough to let me do the Still Got the Blues, and I did a little um, medley of Two Rolling Stone, Robin Shaw, and of course he played over that. And then we did Two Tickets to Paradise, and he did that. He let me do that as an instrumental, and just such a great guy, such a great guy. You know, when you do gigs like this where you're asked to sit in to fill in for somebody, you know, just remember it's their gig, not yours, and remember that it's what they say goes. And if you're blessed and fortunate enough to work with someone as gracious as Kenny, it's gonna be smooth. He's gonna make sure it's gonna be smooth for you because he understands. He's been around. He's definitely been around. He's got some original material too, and some videos of him doing stuff. And man, I was very impressed. I'm like, man, this guy, you know, he's doing the covers and he's doing his. And he wasn't feeling too well on Sunday's gig too. You know, he was telling me, I'm like, and he's still, you know, he's still able to pull it off. You know, that's the sign of a true professional. You know, so I'm just very grateful and honored to have done that. And the mistakes that were done were on my part, not his. You know, and yeah, he had to change some of the keys and that, you know, fourth voice on the feel good. But I totally understand. This guy, he gigs a lot, man. He gigs a lot, and you know, obviously he's a vocalist and guitarist, so all of his he's singing all the time, and I got a lot of respect for our vocalists out there. That's something I can't do, and it's like, man, you know, I don't care if someone before I ever when I was younger, you know, you're building your technique, you think you have the world by the balls and everything, you know, you find out that you don't, and what happens is that over the course of time, you know, you're working on your chops on the guitar and that, but over the course of time, when you work with vocalists, you see what they go through, you start to develop an even stronger respect for them. Because when they're not feeling good and the gig is still booked and you still have to do the show, hey, it's, you know, it's tough. It's tough, and I do have a lot of respect for them for doing that. So kudos to you guys. Kudos to Kenny, man. That was great. And we got more coming up, more gigs coming up. We're again at Yucatan's this weekend, and you know, we'll see. We got also we got the art walk. Oh no, coming next Friday we're gonna be at Miramar Outlets in a different location, and then that'll be Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we're gonna be back at Yucatan's, and then I forget when it is in June. We have the art walk again. We got a lot that's coming on. A lot. It's just, man, one after another, which is great. And then I'll talk with Deb, and we'll see if we get back over at Dean's. That place that we played with Kenny was up in next town up north of us. It's only like 20 minutes away. It's just straight up our road. Tamiami Trail, just straight up there. We go right in there. Before we cross over the bridge into Charlotte, Port Charlotte. This is the town before it's called Punta Gorda, and that place is called Dean, south of the border. So I'll talk with I think her name's Linda. See, we set up a gig over there and do one of our shows. They seem to do a lot of classic rock. I heard them playing Queensryche over the overhead. I'm like, yeah, man, that was awesome. That was and Scorpions and a few others. So I'm like, yeah, this will be a good place. And of course, I would put together more of a rock show for that gig, which I am working on doing the Queensryche Silent Lucidity. It's just one of you know, the acoustic guitar and everything, and it won't take that long to get that. I just want to make sure all the timing is right if I'm using my put the tracks together for that. So yeah, it's gonna be great. So Another thing I want to talk about also is when you're playing in the heat and humidity. Um, where is my 7th Street? Let me do this. I'm going to show you. I can do it like this. When it's really hot out, guys. Oh, maybe Deb put it somewhere else. I think she did. That's okay. It's a spray called Finger Ease. And what it is, it's not like the fast frets. I guess you could use it as a polish. But you spray it on the fretboard. You could take a rag. I'll take this a napkin or a paper towel and wipe it off real good and wipe off the strings. When it's really hot and humid, your fingers are going to tend to want to stick. You're sweating, you're playing. It's already hot and humid. It's like you open up the door to go outside. It's like you're walking into an oven, and you haven't even done anything. You're already sweating. So what the Finger Ease does, it does help kind of lubricate it, the fretboard a little bit. You wipe it down, and it makes it. The only thing you gotta watch out is if you have it too slippery, you overshoot your slides and all that. But other than that, it really does help because when you're sweating, you're just all that sweat's getting on the fretboard, it's getting on the strings, and then after a while, man, it's like if you're using fans, that sweat dries, and it's like, oh man, it's like if you go to the music store and if they got a guitar that's hanging up on the rack that they haven't changed the strings in over a year, you know what I mean? It's like really all rusted at the strings. That's what they feel like. So the Finger Ease does help for that, and it'll work on the nylon string too. Which is great. It's not just working on steel strings; it works on nylon strings. For those who do play flamenco guitars or classical guitars, and it definitely helps because you could get a different type of almost like a burning sensation on the clear trebles on nylon strings. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird because the sun is baking everything, and then everything feels like wow, man. The thing is with the heat, my fingers swell up. So when I'm doing my tremolos, it's like wow, my fingers are almost stuck together. Not I can't move them. It's stuck in my hands. Sometimes those like swell up because of the heat. I had that situation the first weekend, and actually the first day that I played at the Bristol Renaissance Fair back in 2012. I'll never forget that. I played both Saturday and Sunday, and the end of Saturday's gig, I showed Deb my hand, and it was all swelled up, and I didn't hurt my hand or anything. It was just the heat, and I'm out there. At that gig, you're out there all day, man. It's an all-day thing, and of course you take breaks. You get something to eat, go in the car, rest a little bit, run the AC, because you're in those costumes, man, and it's hot. It's real hot. You have to find ways to keep yourself comfortable and cool. Now we have these coolie rags that we'll bring for Saturday and Sunday's gig. Deb is looking into these portable AC units. I did see an ad on a YouTube ad. He's a former football player, and he's talking with another guy on his portable AC that he invented. And the guy was saying, man, you play in the heat in Texas, man. Or down here in Florida. I wish I would have had this back in the day when I was playing. And it's interesting. This particular portable AC unit does not. You fill it with water, and it cools it down. It's not spraying any water. And for me, that's what I need because I can't have water being sprayed on all this stuff. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to destroy it right away, but eventually it's going to do some damage because, it's not meant for that. So, until we find, we'll look into that portable AC unit, but if that doesn't do anything, we'll look into something that we can find. That'll run off of just 110 outlet and just for the, 3 or 4 hours that I'm gigging out there. Because this is only May, and wow, man, it was hot. Boy, we're gigging throughout the whole summer. And a lot of gigs. The majority of gigs down here in Florida, you're outside, man. And trying to find places where we're inside. Although Yucatans, we have that canopy and that porch, that helps. And they did it right, man. And they do have fans up there, and of course we bring ours as well. And once the sun passes, we'll be good. Now another thing, we're going to be doing. And I'm looking at this pedal board. I'm going to show you guys something with the Boss pedal board. Let me go ahead and put this here. Because I have a friend of mine that I had thought about this too, about finding some way of making a shade to cover my pedals where I could still see them. And then I'm looking at my pedal board. This is the Boss BCB90X. Okay, great pedal board. I'm looking at the bottom part. It has, you know, these locks, if you can see that. These. So, picture that this is on the bottom. I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking, you know what I could do? I could go to Michael's Art Supply, get some dowels, you know, that maybe are 18 inches, put them through the hole, make sure they go through the hole, have them kind of sit like on maybe a 45 angle or 40 angle, whatever degree angle, and then put some Velcro around them, and then get some fabric and run it around there. And the way I have my pedals set up, have that run through, because I'll have the dowels through both sides of both pedal boards. So there'll actually be 4 dowels with Velcro, and then wrap the fabric around it, and it'll act as a shade, to shade the pedals. Because the reality is, it gets the sun is just baking on everything, and I don't want anything to get destroyed. Let me just do this. So we'll see how that works, which it should work great. You see, there's all kind of ways you have to be a little bit strategic and think about when you're doing outdoor gigs, no matter where you are. Because I'll tell you what, in Chicago it gets hot during the summer, New York, wherever, it's going to get hot. It's summer. The only difference is when you're down here in Florida or Texas or anywhere in the south here, Louisiana, South Carolina, that heat, it lingers, man. The further south you go, the more the heat lingers and the humidity, and it's like, oh my God, it's tough to take. It can be very, very tough to take, and it wears your body out too, man. Here's another tip too. If a person wants to find out what it's like before you start booking yourself, to see if you could, handle multiple gigs, multiple hours. Don't do this while you're going to start gigging. Test this. But if you just want, this is just if you want to see what sometimes I feel and a lot of us feel. Take a day where you got the time to do it, and the next day you can recover from doing it. I'm not saying get drunk or anything. I don't drink. No. But stay up as late as you can, or if you stay up all night, right? And just before you say to yourself, okay, man, I'm tired, I can feel I'm going to go to sleep. Just before you do that, pick up your guitar and see if you do play 3 or 4 hours straight through with energy. And wow, man, I don't know if I could do that. That's what you might run up against when you're doing multiple gigs. And even if you're not working, you're going to do that. You're going to start to feel it, especially in the heat. So, it's just something to think about. Don't do it while you're before you got your day gig and you get sick, or don't get yourself sick, or book yourself and then try to do that, then you're getting yourself sick. Don't do that. Do it when you got the time to do it, so it's to see what it really feels like, because that's going to give you an idea. Hold on, let's see something here. Okay. Taking care of your gear is another thing. I try to wait as long as possible before I pop the tops off of the pedal boards, and before I plug anything and turn them on. We do our sound check, and when we get at Yucatan's, we try to get there as early as possible. There are times we're getting there about 2.5 hours before we start. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours before we start. And sometimes it seems like it's right, because we got a system of setting things up now that it works, and we get it done quicker than we realize. And then, okay, ready to do a sound check, okay, and then everything stays on for like another hour or so, and then I start playing. So it's like the gear is actually on 4 to 4.5, maybe 5 hours. I'm trying to really limit that because the pedals will get real hot, man, when that sun is baking on them. Like, ooh, real hot. And oh, real quick, speaking of stuff that gets real hot, and I tried these elixirs, and I knew about these for a long time, but you know, uh, a good friend up in the Bradenton area, Bradenton, Tampa area, Jason Stallworth, he's out there. He does a lot of acoustic gigs, and he's got a metal channel, playing metal music. But he uses these elixirs, 10 to 46 nanowebs, and he swears by them. Now he did say they do last a long time. Now in the summer they don't last as long because you're sweating, but it appears that they last longer than the other strings. And it's not that they're coated; it's just the way they're made. Maybe there is some sort of a coating, but it's just different than all the other brands. Well, when I put them on the Gibson and I've stretched them out, it didn't take long for them just to completely stay in tune. I was very pleasantly surprised. I was hoping that maybe even my trebles would be a little bit coated so they wouldn't pop a string, but on Saturday's gig at Yucatan's, I popped my high E string. I got put an extra string on. That was a little bit disappointing there, but I put a date on the pack, and I'm gonna see how long I could get life out of these strings without tuning issues and tonal issues. And if they do surprise me, like I was surprised how well it only didn't take that many times stretching the strings out. It didn't seem like it was that long, and man, they locked in tune, man. So that was a plus. That was a good plus right there. So if they last as long as they claim to last, then maybe they're gonna be cheap. Yeah, they're expensive, but if they're gonna last, it's gonna be worth it. It'll be worth it. Um, so maybe it's just the way the wrapping is, that whatever they're doing. It's nice when companies start thinking about us gigging musicians and the elements that we're faced with. It's not easy. It's not. It's not easy, guys. It's fun, and I love it, and we've been doing it for so long. But there are times it's like, why does it gotta be so difficult? Why does everything gotta be a challenge? And I think what it is mostly is the heat. Mostly it's the heat. And everyone goes through that down here, man. The wait staff, they work their butts off, man, and at these restaurants and that, man. They're just great people. They're there a lot longer than we are, and so like they give me that inspiration when I see how hard they work. I'm like, you know what? They're working actually harder than I am. So, and they really are. So, but with the gear and like I said, the strings, oh man, that's always a challenge. But if those elixirs are going to work the way I'm thinking they're going to work, then yeah, they're going to be keepers, man. So yeah, Jason, you're right, man. You're right. Um, get away, see if we get some time to go up there. Not just do a jam session with Jason, but do a jam session with Michael Lipinski, man. That was so great. And I think you should have got all those rest of those CDs. And I want to thank you so much for doing that, man. You just bought the whole collection. You spent about like, I don't know, $200 or whatever. Deb's the numbers person. She's got all that. But you spent a lot of money, and I'm very, very grateful and thankful. Definitely gotta come up by you, man, and go out for lunch or something, and maybe do a jam. Sit in at a place or something, man, and just jam out. I think you said to me when you came out that, and at that time you drove all the way down from Bradenton down here to Matlacha Island, where I'm playing at, and you did that, and it's still up on my channel, and that was just so kind of you, man. It's, you know, I don't look at myself as anything but me. I'm just me. So I try, you know, I love what I do. But when people, when whatever it is they see in me, and they give me that praise, and I'm like, wow, man, you guys are the ones that are great. You guys are the ones that deserve that praise, man. And because you know, I think, yeah, Michael, he'll sing, you know, I can't do that. That's my biggest fear, man. It's I don't know what it is in my mind. I think I do these things when I'm playing. I can hear everything, but I think what has happened, I've just always been intrigued by playing and just how it sounds. That that kind of took over my whole mind. And as I was developing my technique, everything was growing at the same time. You know, so it grew as an instrumentalist. It didn't grow as trying to be a vocalist or anything like that. So, and everything has its place. And you know, here's another thing, guys. You know, I know that not every place is going to accept me, and not everyone's going to accept me in when I play, and that's okay because everyone's entitled to their opinions. That's not, you know, hurt me, my feelings or anything like that. I mean, I don't like fish. Does that mean fish is bad? Oh, fish. No, of course not. Of course not. I just don't like it. That's all. Um, Certain styles of music, I'm not a big country and western fan, but I respect it. And when I was doing those gigs with Mike, man, he sang them to me better than the artist did. You know, I got used to his voice. He was great, man. Mike was great. And I don't know if we could resurrect that again. You know, maybe that'd be something because he's so easy to work with. You know, and he just when he does his thing, he does his thing, and he does it extremely well. That inspires me. You know, but yeah, you know, you just have to pace yourself, especially as you get older. Um, if you feel like you need to take a break, then go ahead and take it, which is something I should start doing. If I start to feel, you know, as opposed to being just so bullheaded and stubborn and I can get through it, you know. I'm not 20 years old anymore, man. I'm not old, but I'm not 20. I'm not, you know, young. I see part of a rubber band in front of me, but I don't know if it's coming up on the. Cause I had to put a rubber band around this clip that holds the phone, because the other part of it fell off. You know, another thing is when you go live, notice how if you want it horizontal, you got to go through all the settings, you know, and go through that, or yeah, horizontal. That's how I got this, and it's I don't know why YouTube changed that for whatever reason. You know, I really wish they'd give us notices when they would do their changing. Just, guess what, guys? Tomorrow at high noon, if you want to go live, it'll go back to vertical again or horizontal again, or now you gotta, you know, salt over your shoulder and all that, you know. Just give us a heads up. It would be nice. But I'll tell you what, they do give us this platform for free. And you know what? I'm very thankful and grateful for that. Because they don't have to, you know. I think what they realize is that, because we've been on YouTube since October. We posted that video that we did in August. We posted October 2006. So on other channels, we've been on for, God, for a long time. What, 17, almost 18 years now? Yeah, almost 18 years. This October will be 18 years. 2026, October 2026, it'll be 20 years we've been on YouTube. This channel will be 7 years. Yeah, in December. Because I started this channel, and it was at a live gig. It was at one of the corporate gigs we were doing for the Chamber of Commerce. And I just did a short video and then I posted it. And I didn't know I was able to post it. I just fooling around with my phone. Oh, I could do that. Oh, that's cool. That's how this channel actually started. And I changed the name to Rockin' Dave. That was one of my friends back up in Aurora, Illinois used to call me that. also kind of a respect and honor to my friend back in our hometown, Chicago, west side of Chicago. Um, but my point is that YouTube, they give us this opportunity to share what we do with everybody. I don't look at numbers, you know. First, I think, oh, maybe I should this. And for a while, I was doing all that, trying this, that, and it's like, it's just not me. You know, people, when they subscribe, it's because they want to subscribe. And I appreciate that very much so. You know, and like to get more subscribers, absolutely. But I want them, I don't want to force it on anybody. I want them to feel like, hey, you know what? I'll subscribe. I'll check out this guy's YouTube channel and, you know, watch his videos. And I know a lot of them, they get redundant, you know. I'm doing the same songs in different orders and trying to put more songs into it. It is interesting. I have a lot of people tell me no one's doing what you're doing, like down in this area. And we're probably one of the very few, if the only one, that has as many live streams at the gigs down in in the Southwest Florida area. I don't know about the whole state. I don't have the time to do all that research. And people put their own YouTube videos if they live stream. That's great. You know, share your talents and your advice with people because it does help people. It inspires people. That's, to me, that's the whole point of it. The numbers is great, but the message is more important than the numbers because people will stumble on these videos whether they get shared or not. Oh, let's hide them in the closet. You know, I don't want no one to see them. Eventually, people are going to see them. And it could take that one person that who really needs that information that could inspire them. That to me is what it's all about. If I wanted to turn this into like a Les Paul and Mary Ford show, me and Deb, you know, I guess he used to do that from his basement or wherever he was doing it in his house. um, I'd go out and buy expensive cameras. Deb does have an expensive camera, but we go out and buy some more and, you know, up the ante on the computers and this, that, and the other. And part of that does intrigue me because when I was in graphic arts in high school, I remember the Canon AE1. We were dealing with that, and we were in the dark room developing the film to put it on the presses, the printing presses. All that was really cool, man. You know, but I just got so involved in music that if I had a choice, you know, practice over some music and record music or work in the graphic arts, I'd go with the music because that's what my passion is. But the graphic arts I do like, and the art and painting and drawings I like as well. You know, that was something I did before I played. I was a little kid, and then I got into music, and then I put aside the artwork until recent. And I'm nowhere near like some of these people I see on these channels, man. Oh my God, you know, it's just incredible. It's incredible. Um, but you know, you don't have to just be you because there's only one you, right? But yeah, you know, if when it comes to booking yourself and preparing to play, one way to prepare, one way you could prepare for things that are unexpected to happen, it's always how you react to them. You cannot control how people could behave. You can only control how you're going to react to it. Just like you cannot control attendance. Well, I could guarantee, you're talking about the club, well, I could guarantee I could bring 100 people. Guarantee. No, you can't. What happens if there's this illness in a family? You know, well, there goes that couple. They can't come out. Sorry. Can't get a babysitter. They cannot. Sorry. Man, I just worked too hard, man. I need to rest back. I'm not feeling well. I'm sorry. See, there's variables. The only thing you can control is your performance. And even when you're tired and not feeling well, you got to learn how to play to that vibe that you're feeling. You know, I like to play fast. I like to shred and all that, but I also love melody, especially real strong melody. And what I mean by strong melody that just grabs you, whether one note, two notes, three notes, it don't matter. Just where it just grabs you and it's just telling you a story on its own. that to me is more intriguing than the shredding. You work hard to get your technique, and it has its moment. It's a sound of excitement. It's great. The only thing shredding lacks, and it's a real strong lack, is the ability to really take you deep and have dynamics and have the different tempos. I mean, I'm not saying shredding can't do that, but when you're at those high velocity and high volume levels, at some point you have to bring it down a little bit to grab that audience attention and grab also your attention, and to maybe convey a certain story you want to tell through the notes. Because if you think about it, what I do is I'm singing through the guitar, and anyone that's an instrumentalist, that's basically what they're doing. And it's obvious when you're playing popular songs or songs you've written that normally have words, you're just taking that vocal melody and putting it on the guitar. When I do the Foreigner song is real good, and the Journey song. So is the Christopher Cross song. But I want to say mostly the Foreigner and the Journey song, those melodies, those vocal melodies are very, very powerful, man. Very powerful. So it's the same type of approach as if someone's playing on a violin or a saxophone or on piano, keyboards. And there's something magical with that, because if you cannot sing, you could sing through your fingers or through your mouthpiece if you're playing a horn instrument. And you could breathe a lot of depth in those notes. That's why I like Carlos Santana's playing so much. Oh, he can't shred. Well, he plays, but he could hold his own. But he's so recognizable. You know, there's really two standout guitar players I want to say that are like instantly recognizable. B.B. King and Carlos Santana. And everyone else does have their record. You could recognize them. I'm saying that. But the two top tiers, the two top, right off the bat, man, is B.B. King and Carlos Santana. They have that in their vibrato. And of course, we know B.B. King does not use a whole lot of distortion at all. More of an overdrive. But it's in that vibrato. And Carlos Santana with the vibrato and the sustain. And just putting raw emotion behind those notes. You see, you can't teach. That's really hard to teach a person, because that's something that has to really come from within. The way you talk with somebody, or the way you are having a certain conversation, when basically talking with somebody, your emotions, no matter what subject you're talking about, they will have different emotions. If it's a pleading, a sad moment, your voice is going to have that. So when you learn how to channel those emotions through your fingers and onto the guitar, that's real. That's like magic. And it comes from over an amount of time of constantly doing it, playing, and thinking those emotions as you're playing. I've had people ask me, "Gee, do you know what's your favorite mode? You know, your mode, your seven. What's your favorite mode?" Well, all of them. And what key do you like? What scale do you? I never think about those things, especially when I'm playing. When I'm teaching, yeah, I'll analyze them just because of the fact of teaching them. But honestly, to me, it's about that emotion, because that is what grabs the person. It grabs me not only as a listener, but also grabs me as a performer and player, because I have to convey that emotion out. And I understand not everyone's going to get it. But you know, even those who don't get it, or are maybe not a big fan of the style of music I play, I've had them time and time again tell me, as they're watching me play, they say, "You know what? I'm not really, that's not my style of music yet, but I'll tell you what, man, I had fun watching you play, because you look like you really enjoy what you do." And if there's another piece of advice to give to anyone out there, you really love what you're doing, man. And I understand if you're doing it in a cover band thing, You got to kind of force your way to like some of these songs. Try to pick the songs that you're kind of okay with, and then learn how to play with some of those emotions. You might be surprised when you listen to some of the songs you hate listening to. You might have a different perspective when you have to learn how to play them. I think what happens, you learn how to respect it that much more. Like, hey, yeah, well, that's pretty cool. I never thought about that. And that kind of opens up your mind. Like, whoa, yeah, this is pretty cool. But I understand you're not always gonna like them, you know. So it's learning how to develop that type of emotion where you are liking it, even though you don't. That's not your favorite song. You are having fun playing it. Maybe that's a better way to put it. You're at that moment as you perform it. You're actually having fun playing that song, even though you don't like that song. That helps. That definitely helps. Otherwise, stick to what you really do like. And I know people say, "Oh, that's kind of snobby." I had this one lady. She took over the Southwest Florida's Blues Society down here. Thank God the guy Jerry, he's still with us. He's still alive. I'm glad he is. And she told me that this was a couple of months ago. We did at Chuck's birthday party, and she said, "Oh, she was opening up the door not just for us to join, but for us to do some performance with her." And they do stuff through the blues cruise, and I know they're trying to get themselves established. Maybe the Southwest Florida chapter of the Blues Society, and I think is a great thing. I do like what I'm doing now as well, so maybe we'll look into that as things develop more and as more of our time slot opens up for that. And but she really enjoyed when I was playing, and she told me, she says, "Man, there's not many people doing what you're doing. It's like almost a lost art." And I know she also made the comment, which is I wanted to get to the point I was trying to make here. When a lady came up to her and asked her, "Well, you're involved in the music and helping bands out," and she was saying, "Yeah, the lady asked her, well, "What kind of music?" "Oh, it's blues. We're strictly into the blues." And she told me that lady told her, "Oh, yeah, that's kind of snobby." And she says, "Well, no, it's not being a snob. It's just that this is what we like. You don't have to like it, and you don't have to come out to it. I'm not going to try to solicit it to you because obviously that's not your thing. But you cannot deny those who do like it." And I think that's what starts to happen. People, some musicians will start to think, "Oh, well, I got to do what everyone likes," and then they adapt to it, and they do fairly good at it. But deep down, they're not happy with what they're doing, and it's kind of sad because the more you allow that to take place, the more it takes place. I think what happens when someone comes in from a different angle and says, "Well, you know what? I might not play at every single bar that's in town, but I'm gonna play at some of the places. But I'm still gonna stick to my guns and do what I like." And over that course of time, and maybe you're just doing those few places, but you're doing it constantly. And people hear about it, man. Then they come out, they look, and they watch, and either they like it or they don't like it. The ones who are honest and say they don't like it are the ones that we'll sit down and have a conversation with you, because they don't. They're not. It's not directed to be something personal. It's just not their cup of tea. That's all. It's the people. Usually, it's the other musicians. They get a little envy of what you're doing, and they wish they would have thought about that, but maybe they held themselves back, and now they convince themselves, in order to play, I have to do this kind of music. I can't do that. That's not true. See, this is where having other source of income really helps, because you're not tied down to something and destroying your passion, because now you put yourself in a position where, man, I gotta get the gig because, man, the bills are piling up and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, so I have to conform. You kind of lose your soul. Again, if you're the type of person that likes to adapt to all that, you go for it. That's 100% go for it. If you're not so much inclined in that, then think it out. Maybe teach on the side, or do like what they call the other gig economy, where you're door dashing or whatever. Find out a way to have that other source of income. They kind of also give you a little break from the music, and then you come back to it. You're fresh. You're not burnt out. And just remember that there's no shame in that. I don't understand these people that they feel like they have to be a full time this or full time that, and there's nothing wrong with it. Go for it. Absolutely, it's a great experience. We've done that, and it was great, and we traveled with it too, man. It's I'll tell you, we're going to talk about that on next week's show. Um, Doing your music and traveling, and not just doing your music, but also doing like the corporate events and that with your music, because we got a lot of experience with that, man. That was like that's our main bread and butter right there, man. Whoa. But you're not going to have everyone that's going to agree with you in the local bar scene, you know. But that's okay. You're going to start to find people who will come out and say, "Man, thank you for doing that." No one's doing that. It's like we're forgotten about. When I started doing this and advertising this in the papers, like it's jazz fusion, even though I'm doing a lot of the rock songs, but I'm doing more, you know, also the jazz fusion because I love that music. And I have people come out and they come up to me and say, "Man, you know, thank you for doing that because we can't find this music anywhere." I have quite a few people tell me this, some literally, and then some so many different words, basically saying it's like we're forgotten about, you know, and that's sad. That's real sad because there's so much different kind of music out there and different people that like all this stuff. Why do they have to feel like they're left out? To me, it's a big mistake. It's a big mistake. But you know what? Places do what they want because that's theirs. They do what they want, and I will respect that for them. Okay. But if they would ask me, Dave, what do you think? What would you do? What I would do if I had a place, and I'm not into that, I'm trying to get into that. But if I were, first of all, I think it would be like a coffee shop, because I don't drink any alcohol, and I just been around it for so long and seen so much happen that I don't want it in my life. You know, there's a lot you gotta deal with, and this is why musicians need to understand the restaurant and bar owners exactly what they're going through. We don't see everything, but if you play at some of these places and you've seen people get belligerent, police come out, a fight breaks out, just imagine you working there or you owning that place and that's all you see, and you're at this point where I gotta do something. Then you can start to understand what kind of stress they're under. So, and sometimes that's what kills the music. You know, they'll be tired of it. Absolutely, they want to deal with it. Underage drinking, over drinking, being overserved, breaking things, fighting. Man, it's crazy. That's why if I were to have a place, it would be, you know, coffee and tea shop. And you know, honestly, I would have it for instrumental music. And but if I were to open up a spot, it would be kind of like an open mic to give everyone that chance. But if I were to go into that industry, from the experience I have, then I would have it where, and if I would have multiple nights of music, I would have each night would be a different style of music. You know, because I think that's fair. Because you know what? When a person is partial to blues or jazz or folk or rock or country, whatever, the pop rock and the country is everywhere, especially down here. So I'm not knocking it, but it's like a saturation. The metal scene got pushed out. I don't, you know, and not every metalhead is rude and disrespectful. You know, so it just also your demographics. You know, the area you gotta look at that too. But you just have different theme nights, and these people would be surprised. Geez, I don't know where these people come from. I tried to have it with this jazz. I don't like jazz, but I thought I have the jazz music, and all of a sudden you have all these people like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I like the jazz and jazz fusion. You know, but my point is that for people who say they don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to. and it is your restaurant. You do it the way you want. However, when there's low attendance constantly, and you got these called people playing all the popular songs, and it's still low attendance, you can start to think, well, maybe they're just so burnt out. And then you get a guy come in, you know, from out of the blue, plays all this instrumental guitar music, and people are like, man, this is great because it's refreshing because it's not burned out in their ears. Now, that's a good way to look at it. But you see, again, you gotta they do what they want, and us as musicians, we need to understand and respect those owners. I try to talk with the owners, but I've been very the place I play at, the managers that have hired us, they're great people, but so are the owners are great people. But yeah, when you go out there and put yourself out there and book yourself, it's one thing to look at and just it's not don't take it personal and understand if they bite your head off, look what they're dealing with, and maybe next time around you see them when you talk with them, they're so pleasant, you know, because either maybe they sold the place or they took action, affirmative action, you know, to fix whatever problem that they had. A lot of times it'll be financial, and there's also times it'll be the over serving with the alcohol. That happens. That happens a lot, and it's real sad because that'll take a place down. That'll ruin a club owner, and once they get that reputation, it's very hard to shake it because a lot of other businesses and well, maybe I'm not just my guesstimate. I'm not for sure, but you go out and take a loan, and the loan officers, well, what happened with the last loan? The last place you had a problem. They start looking at the track record. Hey, it looks like that place and the other place you had, you had the same problem. You know, you get desperate for the money, so you just keep the drinks coming. And when the drinks keep coming, some people can't handle it, and then they get on their motorcycle and take off and get into an accident. Where were you at? If you're in a motorcycle get in an accident, hope to God you survive, first of all. Or you get in your car in an accident, you survive. But it won't take long for the officer to ask you if you're coherent. Where are you coming from? My mom, ha ha ha. No, that's a long time. I'm talking about right now. Right now, from this point, backtrack. Where did you where you headed, and where did you come from? Oh, I was out at the restaurant, at the Rustic 2 restaurant, or yeah, down the street. Yeah. Hold on, I'm over here. I'm not looking. You're looking over there. I'm right here. They're gonna start probing you, man. The cops are gonna start probing you. And for the restaurant owners that are allowing you over drinking, they have no idea just how fast they could just shut everything they worked hard for. How they, boom, shut it down. How fast they get shut down just by the desperation of making money by over serving. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it. People put their heart and soul in these places. And don't be surprised to hear the restaurant owner does not open until he's got his place. He opens from 5 to 12. Oh, he doesn't open at 2 o'clock? How come he's at his day job? A lot of people will have another job to help keep their business floating. What I mean by that is the money they're making with the business, it goes right back into the business. It's obvious. How are they paying their rent or their mortgage or the insurance or the property taxes? They're not making enough money at the restaurant, so where's that money coming from? They got another gig. Got money coming in. Not everybody has deep wells. And even if you have a deep well and you're pissing through your money, it won't take long for that deep well to run out of water. You know what I mean? So think it out. I would say think it out before you pull the trigger. Look at all your options. Look at look at what you have versus what you don't have, and look at the pros and cons before you pull that trigger, because it's not uncommon or unheard of. People thinking that they're ready to go full time with this, that, and the other, and then they find out real fast after they leave that steady source of income that, oh, this is a little bit more than what I realized. How am I going to pull this one off? And then you go back and work for a little bit, and then your position got filled, and you look back and you're like, you know what, that was not a bad gig I had back there. So it's kind of, you know, when people give the advice and pulling the trigger, they mean well, and it is a great experience. Don't. And I'm not discouraging people from, you know, living your hopes and dreams and pulling that, you know, that trigger. Just make sure you really are not just emotionally ready for it, but financially. Because you see, you might be emotionally, I want to make this work. Yeah, this is going to work. I got the energy. I got the right attitude. You do at that point in time. But you don't know what's on that other side financially, is what could happen financially. And if you're not prepared for that, bam, that takes you down. And it hits you right in the gut. And man, it's like a ton of bricks. And then that's when the depression could set in, the worries. And then the demeanor, your whole personality, everything starts to change because you're worried. So just keep that in mind. You know, normally people say, you know, try to have a year's of salary saved up. If you do 2 or 3, if you're good to do anything long haul, that could be kind of high risk. Give yourself that extra cushion, that extra financial cushion, because you have to always go in anything, any type of opportunity, with the thought, if this does not work, do I have enough to help float me? And will I hit the panic button? And what's going to be the outcome of that when I hit the panic button? Am I really prepared? Again, you can be emotionally prepared for it, but financially, the emotions kind of wash away the practicality. And sometimes you need that practicality, because without it, it could be very misleading. And another thing what happens, people will look at other people's successes. That's why it's really good to show some of the, if you want to call them fails. It is important. And it's not to embarrass anybody, but sometimes that is what encourages people, because like, oh, okay, now I could rationally think this out. Not to scare you from pursuing your dreams, but to just give you that forewarning. Because I think there's not enough of it out there. And people will get so hooked emotionally about, well, they could do it, I could do it, and I'm going to go for it because, yeah, what that person said is true. You know, when your back's up against the wall, you're going to push harder. You will push harder, but it doesn't mean it's going to go in your favor. And then when you're just burnt out from pushing, you know, now what? Tomorrow is always going to come. There's always going to be a tomorrow. So you have to think that out. And then in the world of a gigging musician, you know, you're always got in the back of your mind, oh, this place could close, or they could change their format, or they could just rotate the musicians around. That's not uncommon. What you have today, you might not have tomorrow. So you got to really think that out and be prepared for it. And keep all those doors open of your multiple streams of income. Keep those doors open. Especially as you get older. That's when you start to realize. See, when you're younger, you got time on your side. You could, those mistakes you could afford to make because you got that time on your side. But as you start to get older, that's when you start really, you know, people hit the panic button. And it's not to discourage people what I'm saying. It is to encourage you to pursue your dreams, but at the same time be rational about it. That's not being doubtful. There's a difference. There really is a difference. You know, when I see people put the videos up on the advice on taking that chance, you know, some people say no risk, no reward. You always remember, there's another saying too. You know, you take high risk, there's going to be lots of stress. You know, take that risk and it turns out to be a high risk and it doesn't work out in your favor. You have high stress. It could lead to that. It could lead to that. And you just got to be honest with yourself. So, but it's interesting when I hear these people with these advices, and it doesn't take long within the video or their series of videos, whatever, then all of a sudden, we're having money issues. It happens to everybody. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And when that happens, are you prepared to handle it rationally so you don't start to, your demeanor, your personality starts to change and you become a little bit irritable and not rational. And when you're trying to sell your product or trying to sell yourself as a performer, you don't sound pushy, because you got to understand, your customers they also have problems they have to deal with. They have their own lives they have to deal with. They come to us because they like us. We provide a moment in time where they just forget about life, and it's a great experience. It's a great feeling. Or if you're selling paintings and drawings, they get immersed in that. But when you try to push it on people, whoa, that's a turnoff, man. You can't make people buy your product. You can only wish and hope that they do, and be as polite in selling yourself as possible. But you cannot make them spend the money. There is that fine line that you got to understand not to cross, because once you cross that, it's turned off, and then now your potential client that would give you repeating business, whether it's through them or their friends, now you just cut that cord. You just distance yourself from them, and what happens is that desperation. You're going too far trying to sell. So just think about this. If we lived in a world where we didn't have to worry about the necessities, cost of living, the bills, you know, food, shelter, water, if we didn't have to worry about that financially, why do we have to sell our music? You want to tip us, that's fine, I don't care, but we'll just go out. Oh, I don't have to play. I can really play what I want to play. Because you're not putting yourself in that predicament. So now when you're not in that situation, you just eliminate all that stress. There's a young girl. I gotta find what her. She's an artist, and I might have said this before. Man, I can't remember her name. I just feel so bad. Oh God, I think her name starts with a C. Oh, I feel bad. But she's a great artist, and she came to terms after going through an art program, and it's a pretty pricey art program. It's a good program, but she wanted so bad to be a full-time artist that now she got a promotion, that she's a manager at one of the restaurant and bars that she owns. And she put this video up, and she says, I was kind of stressing myself out, but I do realize I do like the place I work at. I do like the people I deal with and the people I work with. So what I've just realized, by accepting this new job offer, I'm going to make more money. It's going to take care of my financial problems. And the time I do have to myself, now when I do my art, I could do it when I want, if I want. I could do exactly what I want. I don't have to feel like I gotta, start to do commissions or whatever, or what do you want, and then get yourself all stressed out. See, this is the other side of all this. It's the same thing with music. It's the exact same situation when you put yourself in that situation. where you start feeling, okay, now I got to do all the top 10 hits because that's what the people want to hear, and so I got to play what the people want to hear, even though some of them they don't listen to, that they, or it appears they're not listening to you, or they're just burned out from hearing it. Now what do I do? Oh my God, what I don't know what I do. You know, they get the panic starts hitting, and then the stress level hits, and it doesn't take long for that to happen. And it's like, well, why would you want to put yourself in that position? Then a lot of people start to realize when they sit down and they're honest with themselves. I was better off before I went full time with this. I had this steady income, and I could do this on the side, and people are starting to buy what I create. I don't have to feel like I got to conform. Now I could hold to my price. If you're doing paintings, I could hold to my prices. If I want to sell a painting that's a 12 by 12, and I just did all this work, and I feel I should get $3,000, well, I could hold that price. Maybe it'll take years before it sells, but I could hold that price. I don't have to worry. I have to now lower the price, lower the price, lower the price, 25, 50, 99% off, because now you're right back to square one. And the worry is still there. The thing that happens when you start falling behind in bills, they do nothing but pile up. And if you are borrowing money, you got to pay that money back. And if you're putting everything on a credit card, here comes the interest. You're just doing more piling up and piling up and piling, and it just seems like it never ends. It seems like it never ends, and then the stress gets worse and worse, and that's how people start to get sick. That's one reason how they start to get sick, from that constant worrying. And then when they sit down and they actually analyze and rationalize through everything, then they start thinking, I did not have this problem in the beginning. I just wanted to quit my day job and do this. Now I look back at it, this is giving me more problems than my day job. And now, but I can't get my day job back, so I gotta go find some. And now I'm in a situation where I gotta take anything because I need the money. Now I'm really under more stress. You see, it snowballs. And again, it's not to discourage anybody from trying to do anything full time. That's no. I mean, if you think about it, the company you work for, let's say you're working for a place that sells doorknobs, and maybe you're the boss that has that business, you know, maybe he was a carpenter, and maybe that was his passion, and he found a niche, and he's still working in in part of the trades, so he's still in essence working with his passion. So yeah, everyone's got a different passion. It's not just music or art or voiceover, whatever. It's a multiple of things. So as we get older, we look back in our lives and we start thinking, you know what? I remember I had this one job, and it was actually a good job, man. Too bad I didn't keep that. You start thinking, and you start analyzing. Hey, you know what? I'm actually that strong that I know I could handle both. I'm not a weak person. So why should I rob myself of the opportunities that I have, not just with my music or my art or this and but also with the abilities I have. I We were in the trades, although even though I've done music basically my whole life, but I've worked day jobs, of course I have. And we were in the trades that were doing really good. I mean, we were. Well, I'm not gonna give numbers. Deb could give the numbers if she wants. But when you're working in any type of construction, residential new construction, especially when the housing market's booming, whether it's like she had a custom oak stair company, and then later on we also opened up a heating and air conditioning company, specializing in new homes, new construction, and home additions, remodeling, and that. And I could not believe, and we were on the low ball side with our prices compared to other companies that were just for years. And that was not really a passion of mine, although it was kind of fun when I got into it. And realizing that I had another skill I could do, I learned it. I went to a trade school, and I learned it. And I learned most of it was out in the field working for a couple of companies. I thought, isn't it? Reminded me of me and my friends building a clubhouse. That's what it reminded me of. So it kind of took me back to that day. So there's certain things that will remind you of your youth, and I'm talking when you're little kids, that youth that are kind of cool. You know what I mean? So if you could find a way that maybe you have to work outside whatever your passion is, and you find something that maybe is not your dream job or whatever, you know, but you kind of like it, you could tolerate it. It's like this is kind of cool. If you don't want to walk away from it, don't, because all it's going to do is give you that much more financial cushion. And plus, if you do kind of like it, now if you're at a job that you can't stand, that's told we've all been there, and you find ways of opening doors to your craft. But I think what happens as we get older, we start to look back and we start to realize that, you know what? I did not realize all the things I've done are a reflection of all the skills I either had or I learned and developed. And I'm like, and when I was younger, I thought all of that was good. Totally rob me of creativity and totally, be a downer and make me depressed and all that. And I look back and it didn't. It didn't take away my creativity. It added to it. Now, I can only speak for myself. Not everyone's like that. Now, do I still get tired? Of course I'm tired. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, 4 o'clock in the morning. But I do like my driving gig. When I'm out there, I don't have anyone breathing down my neck, and I don't have the radio on. And there are times when I got that quiet time. It's great. I get to see the sunrise every day down here in paradise, and it's like, it makes me realize that I'm not robbing myself of other opportunities. I don't feel like that. I don't feel like I robbed myself. If I were to just to rely on something that could be so challenging, and I'm going to say this with music because the only reason I'm going to say this with music is because everyone's getting basically downloading. What now? People will pay for downloads. I understand it, but for the most part, they're getting it for free. Before the internet and all this, you had to buy it. You had to buy the music. So we were making money. That was a lot different. And the interest was strong because people didn't have all these distractions. Now it's different. So when I look at it, it's like, man, I think us wanting to have stuff for free, we kind of killed it to the point where it's not as fun as it used to be. And I can't rely on it. Always remember, when a person wants to do something full time, money is always going to be involved in it. Again, like I said before, if we didn't have to worry about bills and anything like that, cost of living and the everyday expenses of life, if we didn't have to worry about it, there'd be no problems. There'd be absolutely no problems. You'd be seeing people doing what they want, what they really want, because they have no worries. Even when you go out and join some of these bands, you gotta kind of conform because now money's being put. Because I want to be full time. Okay, well here's the cost of being full time. Well, I don't like that. I want to do this. Okay, well then expect that you might not always be full time, but expect that. However, at least you'll be able to do what you want. And like I said, I've been very blessed and very fortunate, and it's not always easy, but it's a blessing because I realize that I'm in that situation. I really can do what I want, but I do it with respect and dignity. I don't take advantage of it. I'm not better than anybody, and I always have the back of my mind that could change, but if that does, that's okay. If something were to happen like that, I've experienced. I can look back and reflect and say, yeah, you know what? That's pretty interesting. We took a chance and it worked for us, but we were sensible about taking a chance. Here's, in closing, because it's getting a little bit late, guys, and I didn't mean to go rambling on this, but I always feel this is such a need to always emphasize these statements because I don't think enough people hear it as much as they hear the dream. And yeah, go for it. You can make this. Go for it. Give it that try. Absolutely. And if it works in your favor, absolutely, man, more power to you. I'm very happy for you. The advice is always remember things could. It's because it's not a matter of if, it's when, and be prepared for those things. And watch how much money you spend, because that's what's going to determine you going deep down into the financial hole. Because that's always going to be the issue, the financial hole, and that starts taking people down into a depression. So if you have other skills to help you out in life, and you feel like, geez, you know what? I wonder if I should pull the trigger because I kind of like what I got here. If you feel like that, then don't pull the trigger. You know, because see, you have to determine that on your own because you know where you're at financially, and that's always going to be the issue. I have people, they're trying to sell some of their artwork, and then they go through hard times, and then they gotta have a discount, or lower their prices, or take commissions that they don't want. Because always remember, the first of the month, bills are due. Bills are due. No matter what it is, there's a bill that's due. So how do you stay ahead of the game? Making sure you got income coming in. And if you do it as long as you can, if you're healthy enough, and able enough to do it, and if you feel deep down inside you don't want to deprive yourself, then don't. Go ahead and keep the train. I know it's not always a pleasant thing, but you see, you got to remember, once you walk away and that position is filled, is it easy to get that position back? And then if it's like it's not, then here comes the regrets, the deep regrets. And we've all seen people go through that. We've all gone through that, you know. That's why I know there's all kind of stuff that's out there, and I now I'm at the point where I kind of hold myself back to pull the trigger on this, that, or the. I'll look at things that I know that is good, that I do like, and I do know that can help us make money. I'll be working within our music business. It'll help. But if I just buy something, unless I know I got the extra money, okay, extra spending money, okay, that's fine. Go ahead, you know. But at this point, I'm kind of satisfied with what I have. There are things I do like, but then I start to sit down and I think, geez, do I really want it that bad? Where am I going to put it? Is that going to help me be creative, or is this me finding ways of sitting down? I mean, there are times new pieces of gear will inspire you. I'm not going to say it doesn't. It does. It does. Okay. But now, if it doesn't take too long for the regret to hit in, and you spent the money, it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have bought that. That's what I'm saying. I'm at that situation there where I'm kind of happy with what I have. It's just, you know, being able to get the gigs and then enjoy them, and then the time off, I have to enjoy that time off. Ooh, this came up that my battery's at 15%. Anyways, my friends, I hope this inspires people out there. It's not meant to discourage anything. These conversations I have about what you should do about pulling the trigger, go full time, quit your jobs, spend your money. It's just to give you that overview of what you could go through, and just be honest with you. Say, no, I don't care about what you tell me, or that's not my business, But you have to be honest with yourself. And there's absolutely don't let anyone shame you if you haven't pulled the trigger doing this, that, or the other. Never let anyone shame you, because there is no shame in that. There is no shame in that. Everyone's situations are different, and you have to take care of you and yours. Absolutely. So next week, what we'll do, we'll talk about the corporate gigs. We'll talk about our traveling with the corporate gigs, and there was something else I was going to mention. I'll put that in the description when I do post it up. But basically, the stuff that has made us money. Excuse me. And how exciting that was, man. And it's still going strong. But all that with Deb and I, the other day, we're looking back and we can't believe we did half the things we did, and we just went for it, man. We just went for it, and what a feeling that was. Wow. We'll share that next week. So, guys, I hope you guys have a great week, rest of the week, great weekend. We'll be going live Saturday and Sunday. noon to 3 at Yucatan's, and I will do Memorial Day weekend, you know, for our Memorial Day, and we'll put a picture of the flag. Honor our troops, man. Honor those who sacrificed a lot so we can have our freedoms, right? Anyways, my friends, you have a great evening. Until then, we'll see you Saturday. Thank you for watching. Let me show you one of these bad boys again. This is bad. Rock on and God bless, my friends. Take care. We love you all. Thanks for watching.